Everyone, welcome you all to today's topic of class 7, part 2, the ashes that made the trees bloom. My dear student, we were dealing with the first part in our first video, and this is the second part of the ashes that made the trees bloom. Before moving to the topic, let me tell you a beautiful quote. Don't be harsh to animals. Love your pets and other animals. Never ever try to kill them for your own benefits. Now let us move to the story. As you can see the image, I know the words are not clear here, but I want everyone to look at the picture carefully and try to hear me and understand me what I am trying to say. So once in that village, there was a man. In the same village, there was a wicked old man and his wife. Not a bit sensitive and kind, this wife and husband, they didn't like animals. They used to kick if they see any animal who pass through their house. Hearing of their neighbor's good luck, they coaxed the dog into their garden and set before him bits of fish. So when they heard about the news of the neighbor, they started calling the dogs and they tried to feed him with bits of fish, hoping that he would find treasure for them. But the dog, being afraid of the cruel pair, would neither eat nor move. Then they dragged him out of the doors, taking a spade and hoe with them. "Quick, wife, hand me the spade and hoe," cried the greedy and fool as he danced with joy. Then the covetous old fellow with the spade and the old crone and with the hoe began to dig. But there was nothing. There was a dead kitten and it was smelling so bad. They thought that the dog will help them to dug out the coals. But at last they kicked the dog and they killed it and they chopped its head. But when the owner knows that the dog is no more, he felt very bad and started mourning for him as if he had been his own child. Went at night under the pine tree. He set up some bamboo tubes in the ground such as are used before tombs, in which he put fresh flowers. Then he laid a cup of water and a tray of food on the grave. He mourned with the great names, whatever names he used to call his dog, he started calling him. And at the same night, he saw a dream. And the dog spirit says, "Cut down the pine tree over my grave and make from it a mortar for your rice pastry and a mill for your bean sauce." He mourned, and what happened the other day, the man followed the dog and he went to the jungle and chopped down the tree. Out of the tree, he made a hollow place as big as a small bowl. He then made a long handled hammer of wood such as is used for pounding rice. And you can see the image. And during the New Year time, they made a rice pastry. The old man lifted his hammer to pound the mash into dough. And the blows fell heavy and fast till the pastry was all ready for baking. And my dear student, for their utmost surprise, everything turns to the gold of coins. Now when the old woman took the hand mill and filling it with beans, began to grind, do you know what happened? It turned into gold again. Meanwhile, the envious, and during this time, the neighbor were peeping through the window. And when the boiled beans were being ground, "Goody me," cried the old hag as he saw each dripping of sauce turning into yellow gold. So they were surprised. And what did they see? See the image. Mass of gold. And the next day, this neighbor came to ask them the magic mill. And they took it with them. The covetous couple also heard the story and In this way, I hope the images what you saw, half of the story is being comprehended. And in details, at last what happened, the old man did as he was told by the dog, and with much labor he made a small bowl of wood. Then he made a long handled hammer of wood when the new year drew near, and he decided to make some rice pastry as you have seen the pictures, images, and he boiled the rice in the wooden mortar, and the old man used the wooden hammer to pound the mash into dough, and when the pastry was ready for baking, it turned into mass of gold coins, as I said you and as I have shown you the picture. So the old woman took the hand mill and filling it with bean sauce began to grind, and the gold dropped like rain. At this moment, as I told you, the neighbor were peeping through the window, and the very next day they came and asked the mill, and the poor man and the lady, they gave their mill, and the man began to pound the rice and the woman began to grind. The same thing they did. But what happened? The sauce and the pastry turned into worms, so they broke the meal into pieces to use it as firewood. So I hope this entire chapter was easily comprehended, and I want each and everyone to go back and turn your pages and read it thoroughly by yourself. If you have any doubts, queries, comment, feedback, do comment on my chat box. Thank you all for watching my audio. Have a nice day.